Our story opens in Manchester, 1951, where the home of mathematics professor Alan Turing is being swarmed by police. There's been a break-in, but as Detective Robert Knock arrives on the scene, he finds the situation is far from ordinary. Nothing has been stolen, yet the house is a mess of scattered mathematical papers and shattered chemical beakers, the floor stained with spilled cyanide. Knock finds the professor himself, a strange and distant man named Alan Turing, meticulously sweeping up the cyanide crystals. Turing is dismissive, arrogant, and unnervingly perceptive, correctly deducing that Knock is nursing a hangover. He brushes off the police, claiming he wants a cleaning lady, not a constable. But Knock's instincts tell him something is wrong. This mysterious professor, whose war records are completely classified, is clearly hiding something. This suspicion kicks off an investigation that will unravel the story of a man who changed the world, only to have the world turn on him. We flash back to 1939. As Britain declares war on Germany, a younger 27-year-old Alan Turing travels to a top-secret location, Bletchley Park. He's here for a job interview with the stern Commander Denniston of the Royal Navy. The interview is a disaster of social awkwardness. Alan is blunt, literal, and utterly lacking in deference. He announces he doesn't speak German, a seemingly crucial skill for a codebreaker. When Denniston is ready to throw him out, Alan says one word that changes everything: enigma. He knows the military's deepest secret. They are trying and failing to break the Nazis' seemingly perfect encryption device. Enigma, he argues, isn't a normal code, it's a machine. And he believes only a machine can defeat another machine. His sheer arrogant confidence gets him the job. Inside Bletchley's Hut 8, Alan is introduced to the rest of the cryptography team. There's the charismatic, confident Hugh Alexander, a two-time national chess champion, the quiet Scottish intellectual John Cairncross, and the precocious young Peter Hilton. They are faced with an impossible task. The Enigma machine has 159 million possible settings, which the Germans reset every single day at midnight. The team has just 18 hours to crack the code before all their work becomes useless. Alan, believing his colleagues are inferior minds, immediately alienates them by declaring he will work alone. His refusal to cooperate brings a quiet but firm warning from the enigmatic head of Mi-6, Stuart Menzies, who reminds him of the stakes. With every passing minute, more servicemen are dying. The days turn into months, and the team makes no progress. While Hugh Alexander and the others painstakingly search for linguistic patterns, Alan sequesters himself, obsessively working on schematics for a massive, complicated machine. He believes that manually checking every setting is a fool's errand. The only solution is to build an electrical brain, a digital computer that can run through the possibilities faster than any human ever could. His work is fueled by memories of his lonely school days, where he was mercilessly bullied for being different. His only friend was a boy named Christopher Morcom, who introduced him to the beautiful, logical world of cryptography. This friendship, tragically cut short, becomes the emotional blueprint for Alan's life and work. In fact, he decides to name his theoretical machine Christopher. Frustrated by the lack of support, Alan goes over Commander Denniston's head and writes a letter directly to Prime Minister Winston Churchill requesting £100,000 to build his machine. To everyone's shock, Churchill not only grants the funding but puts Alan in charge of the entire Enigma project. Alan's first move is to fire 2 members of the team he deems incompetent, further cementing his reputation as an insufferable genius. To find replacements, he publishes a brutally difficult crossword puzzle in the newspaper, offering a mysterious job to anyone who can solve it in under 6 minutes. A brilliant young woman from Cambridge, Joan Clark, completes the puzzle in 5 minutes and 34 seconds. She is hired, but her conservative parents forbid her from living and working alongside men. To keep her brilliant mind on the project, Alan arranges for her to work with the female clerks in a nearby town, sneaking her Enigma decrypts to analyze in secret. With Joan's help and the grudging assistance of his team won over by a clumsy offering of apples and a poorly told joke, Alan begins to build Christopher. The machine is a colossal tangle of wires and spinning rotors, filling an entire room. But as the war rages on and casualties mount, Christopher remains inert. The pressure intensifies when Deniston, convinced Alan is a Soviet spy, threatens to shut down the project. Time is running out. Joan, feeling the pressure from her parents to marry and settle down, tells Alan she must leave Bletchley. In a moment of pure, desperate logic, Alan proposes marriage. It's not about love, he explains, but about partnership. It will satisfy her parents and allow her to continue her vital work. Seeing the strange sense in it, Joan accepts. Their engagement party is cut short by a quiet conversation with John Cairncross, who reveals he knows Alan's secret. He's a homosexual. In an era where this is a criminal offense, the secret is a weapon, and Cairncross warns Alan to be careful. The weight of this secret is soon overshadowed by a monumental breakthrough. In a pub, Joan's colleague Helen mentions that her German radio counterpart is lazy, always starting his coded messages with the same 5 letters, a tribute to his girlfriend. Alan has a thunderous realization. The messages aren't random. They contain predictable, repeated words, phrases that appear in every single 6 a.m. Weather report, weather, and Heil Hitler is the key. They race back to Hut 8 and reprogram Christopher to search not for random settings, but for settings that produce these known words. The machine whirs to life, rotors clacking, and then stops. It has found the daily setting. They have broken Enigma. Their euphoria lasts only a few minutes. The first decrypted message reveals an imminent U-boat attack on a passenger convoy. On board is the brother of their colleague, Peter Hilton. They have the power to save hundreds of lives, but Hugh Alexander reaches for the phone to call in the warning. Alan stops him. If they stop the attack, the Germans will realize Enigma is compromised. They will change everything, and the war will be lost. Their victory has thrust upon them an unbearable choice. They can't save everyone. They have to let the convoy sink, let Peter's brother die to keep their weapon a secret. They are no longer just code breakers. They are now the arbiters of life and death, forced to perform a blood-soaked calculus every single day to win the war. In the aftermath of their breakthrough, Alan and his team, now working with Stuart Menzies of MI6, create a system codenamed Ultra. They develop a statistical analysis to determine which attacks to thwart and which to allow, creating elaborate cover stories to disguise the source of their intelligence. Their work is cold, brutal, and utterly secret. The burden of this secret is immense, especially when Alan discovers that John Cairncross is the Soviet spy Deniston was looking for. But when Alan confronts him, Cairncross threatens to expose Alan's homosexuality. Alan takes this information to Menzies, only to learn that MI6 has known all along. They are using Cairncross to leak carefully selected intelligence to their Soviet allies. Menzies now has leverage over Alan, blackmailing him into helping decide which secrets to feed the Russians. Realizing the danger he has put Joan in, Alan makes a heartbreaking decision. He cruelly ends their engagement, telling her he never cared for her, all to push her away and keep her safe. The war ends. VE Day is declared, and the world celebrates. But for the team at Bletchley Park, there are no parades. Menzies orders them to burn everything, every schematic, every decrypt, every scrap of paper. Their work, which shortened the war by an estimated 2 years and saved over 14 million lives, must never be spoken of. They must pretend they never knew each other. We return to 1951, where Alan Turing sits in a police interrogation room, having told his entire story to Detective Nock. He has been arrested and charged with gross indecency. He asks Nock to judge him. Is he a man or a machine? A war hero or a criminal? Nock, humbled and horrified, can only reply, "I can't judge you." Months later, Joan Clark visits Alan at his home. He is a broken man. To avoid prison, he has accepted a court-ordered hormonal therapy chemical castration. The treatment is destroying his mind. His hands tremble and he can no longer complete the crossword puzzles he once loved. He has become a shell of his former self, finding his only solace in the new, improved version of his machine, Christopher, which he continues to build in his study. Joan reminds him of his own powerful idea. Sometimes it is the very people who no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine. But it is too late. In 1954, police are once again called to Alan Turing's home. They find him dead, a victim of cyanide poisoning, a half-eaten apple on his nightstand. Detective Knock, arriving at the scene, understands the devastating irony. He and the world he represents killed the very man who saved them. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.